I want to start this one out with a quote. Let me see how close I can get to the original. What you have here is a failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach. So you get what we had here last week. This is the way he wants it, so he gets it. I don't like it any more than you do.
Freedom has many difficulties, and democracy is not perfect. But we have never had to put a wall up to keep our people in.
Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all.
If you know that quote is from a movie called Cool Hand Luke. It is a very famous quote. Some of you may recognize that quote from a music album. Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion. It is the start to a video and a song called Civil War. Both are very fitting to this video. It is my personal opinion that a civil war has been raging in the United States really ever since World War II ended. It has been a battle of wills, a battle of constitutional rights. Like I've said in videos before, I love watching First Amendment auditors on YouTube. A guy just standing on the sidewalk with a camera filming a business from a public place. And people will call the cops on them. You can't do that. You can't film here. Why not? If you are in the public, what difference does it make? Police officers have dash cams. Police officers have body cams. So why can a person of legal status in the United States not stand on a public sidewalk and film or video anything that the eyes can see? It is a test. It is a test to constitutional rights. And our constitutional rights have been tested for the last 50 years, 60 years, if not longer. What amazes me is the lack of strength of the average American. They are so jelly-spined to just lay down and stop. To give up. Throw up the white flag of surrender to authority. No matter who that authority is. whether it's a business owner, whether it's a police officer, whether it is our federal government. People see, the average United States citizen sees someone in an authority position as a person they need to bow down to and fall to their knees in obedience. I have always had a rebellious streak in me. I don't want to go into drastic details about my personal life, but I have dealt with abuse in many forms, mainly in my younger life. Mental, emotional, and physical. Let's just leave it at that. I learned to get tough at an early age. I didn't want to, but I had to. It was a fight for survival. This has not been an easy life. I'm not asking for any type of sympathy. I'm just talking. So when authority comes to visit me, I question authority. Always have. Probably always will. I have a trust barrier that some people I don't like allowing to cross that trust barrier. I have put up walls in certain instances. Don't let people in. In essence, it all comes down to trust issues. There's a TV show that I really like. Don't watch it that much, but in the past I used to like to watch it a lot. And it is a TV show called The X-Files. There's a quote in it: trust no one. Doesn't mean you have to be a hateful person, rude person. Don't judge a book by its cover. Always question. Always ask questions. Don't just look at something from face value. Look deeper. I know it was just a TV show. It was a drama. But there was an underlying thing in that about the government. And it consisted of UFOs, which is the drama part of it. But the thing is, the message is, our government cannot be trusted. There's deep cover-ups within the government. I believe that too. There's stuff that we will never understand and never get to the bottom of, such as the killing of JFK. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I believe there was more to that than the public was allowed to know. And even though they released a lot of documents, you probably still will not understand or know the whole story of that. With that being said, in correlation with this channel, stuff goes on with trucking behind the scenes. While we're out driving the trucks up and down the roads, while we are working, there are, should I say, demonic forces at work behind our backs. I have felt it, especially in the last 25 years. There is no doubt in my mind that the government and the lobbyists and the corporate executives are working to undermine middle class truck drivers. They are squeezing it, compromising, compacting, and working against the middle class truck drivers, while millions and millions of dollars flow into corporate entities, lobbyists, and our federal government. Folks, I want to read something to you. I just pulled it up on my phone. Do you know that the United States is not technically a democracy? Our government is actually a constitutional republic. The main difference between a republic and a democracy is the charter or constitution that limits power in a republic, often to protect the individual's rights against the desires of the majority. They knew what was going to happen. They knew it. They gave you rights. Read the Constitution. Read it. And we as people are allowing our Constitution to be shredded in front of us because we are jelly spined and we will not stand up. Ever heard the quote? You must stand for something or you'll fall for anything. That's a song, but it's also a quote. You have to have morals, ethics, values. You have to stand for something or you'll just fall. That is what these demonic forces that are working behind us are counting on. They're counting on us to fall so they can take over. And what's sad is it's not outside of the boundaries of the United States that is doing it. It's inside the boundaries of the United States that is doing it. Ever heard of the deep state? Do you know what that is? It's us. Everybody questions, what is the deep state? What is the deep state? What is it? It's us. We are the deep state. Ever heard the quote, we are our worst enemy? We are our own worst enemy. We are. We are our own demons. Because we are told to not object to authority, do what you're told, do your job, keep your opinions to yourself, sit down and shut up. We don't want to hear your opinions. We hear it all of our lives. So we do as we're told. Think about that. That is an erosion of our Constitution. I want you to just slowly think back, drift back in time to before we fought the Revolutionary War. We didn't fight it. Our forefathers fought it. Why did they fight it? What was the purpose of the Revolutionary War? Because the colonies were ran by a monarchy that told the colonists what, when, how. An overruling, overreaching government that did not allow individuals' rights. They had a blanket law that covered everything. Do as you're told, what, when, how, pay your taxes, do your work, do as we tell you. Does that remind you of anything? We have come full circle. We are in worse shape as a nation today than we were before we fought the Revolutionary War. Not the Civil, the Revolutionary War. We are more divided and separated and disconnected than we've ever been in this country. And that is exactly what they wanted to accomplish. Which is, you can say in the comments, you're wasting your breath. You'll never get everyone together. You'll never get us connected. Okay. But if somebody doesn't stand up and object, if somebody doesn't try, we all fall. All of us. We all fall. There is one commenter. I like all of your comments. And I sincerely mean this. Even the most rotten comments that you put on here, the most hateful things that you put on here, I still cherish that, because that is your right. That is your First Amendment. Freedom of speech. And I will not be the one to take that away from you. And neither should anyone else. Say whatever you want to say. Cherish it. Use it. This one commenter stood out to me from the very first comment that he put out. When I read his last comment, it really hurt a little. Not bad, but it hurt a little. And I want to read part of his comment, and I want to speak on part of his comment, because it is very valuable in this video. His comment was about basically this video, but his comment was for last video. He said, I do not agree with your politics views, but we are in the same boat. No matter what, you and I want to make this industry better, and that's what counts, right? Obviously, I have not been extremely vocal. That's probably something that I should have done at the start of this channel, is say what my political views are. I don't believe in Democrat or Republican. I don't believe in any political party. I don't have faith in politicians. I see every 4 years, everybody is cheering and cheering and cheering. Oh, this president is going to save us. This is our pick. And he or she is going to save us. No politician is going to save you, folks. If we actually broke out in a civil war, that politician will run and hide. They will be nowhere to be found. They'll go bury themselves in a bunker somewhere. They're not here for you and me. They're here for them, for their own pleasure. I don't celebrate presidents. I will take that back in part because in 2016 I was like everyone else. I had never saw someone like Donald Trump before. And I had the t-shirts. Trump is my president, and I wore it all the time. And I was expecting to get a lot of hate for wearing it. But I didn't. Everyone was happy that I wore it. Every shipper and receiver that I went into, I like your shirt, I support Trump too. I don't think people support Trump as much as they see him as a person to save our republic. Because the battle seems to be lost. And I hear it in the comments, and I hear it from other people. We have been beat down, pushed down so hard. We need a savior. And we see Trump as our savior. Trump is not going to fix all of the problems, folks. He can't. He's one person. He can't. He's not Santa Claus. He's not going to come to every single person's house and give everybody the present that they want. He can't do it. You can satisfy some of the people some of the time, but you will never please all of the people all of the time. It's just the facts of the matter. That's why I can't put 100% faith in any president. None. Now, if that president came directly to me, face to face, and said, "What do you want for trucking?" Me and this commenter, I would love for us to be there together to tell that president, this is what's happening. This is what we want changed. And I don't see that day happening. But like I have said before, if everyone out here in trucking had the same mindset that he and I do, then trucking wouldn't have went downhill the way that it has. He and I both are hard working people. And we have morals and we have values. I can tell it. I know his passion. I read it. You can read it too. I'll read some more of it to you. I honestly believe this country is run by big money interests, big corporations. No matter who is in charge, Democrats or Republicans, both are the same, crooks and dishonest. This is how I see politicians. I concur. Believe you to the T. Exactly. I also believe that Americans, especially truckers, are tough on the outside, but are weak and cowards on the inside. That is the reason this industry is what it is. We blame politicians, governments, institutions for our own stupidity. That's what I'm just saying with this video. Now, we may differ on that a little bit because I don't just blame governments. I point out how they are at fault. Working with the lobbyists, working with corporations, instead of getting out and working with the general public like they are supposed to. They are duly elected officials. You can't talk to a congressman or a congresswoman. Send them a letter, call them all day long, and they will not respond to you. But you have a big major business that is put out here somewhere, they're right there. They're right there for the ribbon cutting. But they're not here for us. That's sad. Because we are the ones that elected them. And then they turn their backs on us and go to the special interest. And I don't think that's right, and I don't think that's fair. But we keep electing them. And we keep with our jelly-spined thing of, we elected you, we put you there, so you speak for us. And then when they fail, everyone wants to blame something. So they blame the government. And then every 4 years or 8 years, they come back and elect another one. When are we going to stop this cycle of trying to get somebody that doesn't care about us in a position of favorability? Why is all the truck drivers not petting their faith in someone that is passionate about trucking and wants to change? I put my faith in this commenter. I would put every bit of my faith in trucking with this commenter. That's how strongly I believe in him. I have watched his videos. I have listened to his comments. That's why I started this channel. And like I've said many times, I may end up being a failure, fall on my face, mud all over my face, egg dripping on my face, and a failure. But at least I tried. At least I did something besides sit in my truck talking on the phone and griping about what we should do instead of getting out there and doing something. Now, granted, a lot of people have said on here in comments, well, what is your point? Well, what can you do? You know who they said that about? Martin Luther King. I'm not comparing myself to him. I guess in a way I am, but I'm not comparing myself to him. It's not my intent to compare myself to him. It's just in the beginning, don't you think that a lot of people said that about him? Well, what are you going to do? What are you going to change? Why should people have faith in you? What would have happened if he would have just laid down and quit? Just laid down and said, it's not worth it. I throw up the surrender flag. I quit. But he didn't. He kept going. I don't know how far I can go with it. I don't know how far I should go with it. There's a lot of times that I even wonder if it's worth my time to try. Because there's so much negativity. There's so many pessimists. There's so many people that have already given up before they have tried. Think about it this way. There's two of us, myself and this commenter. What if there was 10 of us? What if there was 1,000 of us? What if there was 1,000,000 of us? With all the like-minded, same intent, same goals, same vision, same path, we would be unstoppable. We could turn this industry around. High hopes, I know. I know it's high hopes. The highest goal that I have ever attempted in my life. And I'm the first one to say I may trip and fall on my face and land in the mud. But at least I can say I tried. I'm not going to throw up the surrender flag and quit before I even start. And I don't think you should either. I think it should be 1,000 today, 10,000 next year, 100,000 the next year, and just keep growing and growing and growing. Is there going to be resistance? Absolutely. But why don't you start? Why don't you try? Are you that scared? Are you that terrified of even attempting something? Why was the Revolutionary War fought? Do you think they were scared? I know they were terrified. I've read the stories of where wounded men with bandages, no shoes, were walking through the snow trying to fight the biggest military on earth. How many times do you think they wanted to give up? But they kept going. And ultimately, they won the epic battle. What if they would have just stopped and surrendered? Is it worth it to go back to the way that it was before? Or should we keep marching on? For the commenter that put out there, what is your point? Here's my point.